Welcome to The Human Curious. If you enjoy exploring the wonders of our world, make sure to subscribe, share, and like this video. Let's get curious together. The sky over West Java underwent a dramatic transformation, shifting into a canvas of bruised purple hues. It wasn't just a change in color, it was a palpable shift in atmosphere, a heavy, ominous feeling that settled over the landscape. The air crackled with an unseen energy, a silent promise of the violence that was about to unfold. Below this turbulent sky, Mount Gade Pangrango stood defiant. Its slopes, usually bathed in sunlight, were now cloaked in shadow, yet they retained their vibrant lush green color. The vegetation seemed to pulse with life, drawing strength from the very humidity that heralded the coming storm. It was a scene of stark contrast, the serene beauty of the mountain juxtaposed against the brewing chaos above. Further down, the meticulously terraced tea plantations clung to the mountainside like emerald ribbons. These carefully cultivated fields, a testament to human endeavor, were now at the mercy of the approaching tempest. The leaves, usually shimmering in the breeze, were still and expectant, awaiting the deluge. The air itself pressed down with an almost physical weight, heavy and expectant, thick with moisture and the scent of petrichor, the earthy aroma released when rain falls on dry soil. It was an oppressive atmosphere, a feeling of being trapped beneath an invisible blanket. Nature, sensing the impending onslaught, held its breath in anticipation. A moment of profound stillness descended upon the land. Even the normally boisterous gibbons, their calls echoing through the jungle, fell silent. The incessant chirping of insects, a constant backdrop to life in the tropics, ceased abruptly. A hush fell over the forest, a silence so complete it was almost unnerving. This was not ordinary rain, not a gentle shower to nourish the land. This was a tropical thunderstorm, a force of nature unleashed in all its raw and primal power. It was a display of untamed energy, a reminder of the Earth's capacity for both creation and destruction. The first drops fell, not as a gentle drizzle but heavy and cold, each one a distinct impact against the parched earth. They thudded against the broad, waxy leaves of banana plants, a staccato rhythm announcing the storm's arrival. A low rumble, deep and resonant, vibrated through the dark volcanic soil beneath, an ominous warning from the earth itself. It was the storm's prelude, a sonic boom announcing its imminent arrival. Wind, initially a gentle breeze, tore through the dense jungle canopy with increasing ferocity. It howled across the open expanse of the rice paddies, whipping the young rice stalks into a frenzy and carrying with it the sharp, metallic scent of ozone, a telltale sign of the electrical storm to come. In a matter of moments, the world transformed into a chaotic maelstrom of motion and sound, a swirling vortex of wind, rain, and impending fury. Rain fell in blinding curtains, a torrential downpour that obscured everything beyond a few feet. The horizon vanished, erased by the sheer volume of water cascading from the sky. The roar of the storm was deafening, an overwhelming cacophony that consumed all other sounds, a symphony of destruction played out on a grand scale. Lightning split the sky with savage intensity, electric blue tendrils reaching down from the heavens. Each flash was followed by a deafening clap of thunder that shook the very foundations of the mountains, a visceral reminder of the storm's immense power. This was the kind of storm that shaped the land over millennia, a force of erosion and renewal. The relentless rain carved new rivers and streams while simultaneously nourishing the lush tropical jungle, ensuring its continued survival. For the people living in its shadow, nestled in the valleys and on the slopes of the volcano, the storm was a double-edged sword, both life-giving and inherently dangerous. The storm inspired a mixture of reverence and fear, a daily reminder of nature's immense and unpredictable power, a force that could both sustain and destroy. It was not just a weather event, a passing inconvenience. It was an ancient drama, a timeless struggle between the elements, playing out across the dramatic stage of the volcanic highlands. In the heart of the tempest, amidst the chaos and fury, the world was momentarily remade, cleansed and renewed, if only for a fleeting moment in time. Perched precariously on a rocky outcrop, seemingly unfazed by the elements, Dara found herself in a state of serene focus amidst the surrounding chaos. The wind howled, the rain lashed down, and the very ground beneath her feet seemed to vibrate with the raw power of the approaching storm. While others, driven by instinct and self-preservation, fled in terror from the impending tempest, seeking shelter from its wrath, she moved deliberately, almost reverently toward the storm's heart, drawn by an invisible force. Her trusty camera, a sophisticated piece of technology, was clutched firmly in hand, her fingers dancing across its controls with practiced ease. It was an extension of herself, a tool to capture the fleeting beauty and untamed energy of the natural world. Her world narrowed, shrinking to the confines of the camera's lens, the viewfinder becoming her sole window to reality. The storm, magnified and intensified, filled her vision, a swirling vortex of light and shadow. And alongside her, a lifeline to the scientific understanding she craved, the data streamed relentlessly onto her laptop, a glowing beacon in the encroaching darkness, each blip and graph a piece of the puzzle she was determined to solve. Dara was a hunter, a specialized breed, driven by passion and armed with technology. Her quarry, the elusive, ephemeral, and utterly captivating perfect lightning bolt. A fleeting moment of raw power, a dance of electrons in the sky. Her arsenal included a high-speed camera capable of capturing thousands of frames per second, and an array of sophisticated sensors, all meticulously tuned to capture the storm's fleeting secrets, to unravel the mysteries hidden within its chaotic embrace. She meticulously monitored barometric pressure, tracking its subtle fluctuations, analyzed the shifting electromagnetic fields that crackled in the air, and recorded even the slightest temperature shifts, each data point a clue, all in anticipation of the next strike, the crescendo of the storm's symphony. It was a delicate dance, a harmonious blend of cutting-edge technology and raw, primal instinct, a conversation between human ingenuity and the untamed power of nature. For Dara, this was far more than just a job, a mere means to an end. It was an all-consuming obsession, a burning passion that fueled her every action and thought. She'd fearlessly chase storms across the vast archipelago of Indonesia, from the volcanic peaks of Java to the remote islands of Sulawesi, relentlessly seeking to reveal the underlying physics behind the ancient myths and legends that surrounded these awe-inspiring displays of power. To her, lightning was not a divine weapon wielded by angry gods, but rather a magnificent and complex electrostatic discharge, a natural phenomenon governed by the laws of physics. Tonight's supercell was something truly special, a meteorological marvel, a rare and formidable rotating titan of the skies, a swirling vortex of energy unlike anything she had ever witnessed. It held the potential for a truly spectacular display of lightning, a symphony of light and sound that would etch itself into her memory forever. Dara had been tracking this storm system for days, poring over weather models and satellite imagery, anticipating its every move, and now, she was perfectly positioned to capture the shot of a lifetime. As the storm raged around her, unleashing its full fury upon the landscape, she felt a potent cocktail of emotions coursing through her veins. A primal fear mingled with an intoxicating exhilaration, a humbling sense of being small and insignificant before something so vast and powerful. Her focus was absolute, laser-like, unwavering in its intensity, her sole purpose to capture not just an image, but the very essence, the raw, untamed soul of the storm. In that moment, suspended between the earth and the sky, between fear and fascination, nothing else existed for Dara but the storm. Dara's science stood in contrast to her grandmother's world. Nenek, a rain shaman, used incense and incantations, not sensors. To her, storms were living spirits, not data points. Dara once dismissed these rituals as folklore, preferring science's clear answers. Yet, Nenek would ask, "You look at the storm, but do you see it?" Now, surrounded by technology, Dara sometimes wondered if she truly understood the storm's intention. In the tempest's heart, doubt flickered. Perhaps there was more than science could explain. The supercell was overhead, the storm at its peak. Rain became a wall, wind shrieked, thunder rolled endlessly. Dara's sensors spiked. This was the moment. Her camera fired at maximum speed, capturing every flash. Suddenly a bolt of blinding intensity struck a distant ridge. The world went white, thunder shaking her shelter. It was a positive lightning strike, rare, powerful, and perfect. Hours later, reviewing footage, Dara saw something impossible. For a few microseconds, the lightning's plasma formed a symmetrical geometric glyph. It looked like an ancient symbol, a snowflake of pure energy. The pattern appeared, then vanished into chaos. Dara stared, breathless. Science had no explanation. In that instant, order emerged from chaos, then disappeared. The storm had revealed a secret. Dara replayed the footage again and again, each time hoping to find some logical explanation, some trick of the light, some artifact of the recording process. But the more she watched, the more convinced she became that what she was seeing was real. She meticulously stepped through the frame, searching for flaws. None appeared. The glyph was real, undeniably present within the raw data. It was a self-organizing plasma structure, a fleeting phenomenon lasting less than 1,000th of a second, an impossible anomaly. It was a phenomenon that defied current physics. A glitch in reality itself, a ghost in her machine, a whisper from somewhere beyond the known. The image haunted her, a persistent enigma, defying all established categories of scientific understanding. It was beautiful and terrifying in equal measure. Nature's patterns usually emerged from simple, elegant rules, governed by the laws of physics and the principles of entropy. But this was different, ornate, deliberate, possessing an almost unnatural complexity. It felt less like a random occurrence and more like a conscious design, a purposeful insertion into the fabric of reality. Not a fluke of nature. Dara hesitated to share it. The implications were staggering, and she wasn't sure she was ready for the world to see what she had found. How could she even begin to explain a geometric symbol, so precise and intricate, existing for a fraction of a second inside a bolt of lightning? Her discovery pushed her to the edge of understanding, to the very limits of what she thought was possible. She stood at the precipice of a new reality. In the midst of her confusion, her grandmother's cryptic words echoed in her mind, a haunting reminder of the mysteries that lie hidden in plain sight. "You look at the storm," she had said, "but do you truly see it? Do you see the forces at play, the hidden energies, the secrets it holds?" For the first time, Dara truly understood the depth of her grandmother's words. The storm was more than just a weather event. She'd been so focused on the data, on the quantifiable measurements, that she had failed to see the underlying mystery, the profound unknown, lurking beneath the surface. The glyph had cracked her worldview, shattering her preconceived notions about the nature of reality and the limitations of human knowledge. It was hinting at a universe far stranger, far more complex, and far more wondrous than science currently admits, a universe teeming with possibilities beyond human comprehension. The storm had passed, leaving her not with resolution, but with a deluge of more questions than answers, a profound sense of wonder, and a burning desire to understand the secrets the universe was trying to reveal. The glyph forced Dara to look beyond science into humanity's storm myths. Across cultures, storms were seen as messages from gods. Zeus's thunderbolts, Thor's hammer, Rajan's fury. Myths gave storms intention and meaning, not just chaos. Indigenous legends spoke of thunder beings and sacred spirits. These stories connected people to nature, making storms sacred. Dara saw her work as part of this tradition, seeking patterns, stories, meaning. Science and myth both tried to explain the incomprehensible. The glyph sat at their intersection, a bridge between ancient myth and modern measurement. In the glyph, Dara glimpsed the unity of myth and science. Dara's search led her to atmospheric phenomena once thought mythical. Sprites, elves, and jets. Sprites, vast reddish flashes above storms like ghostly jellyfish. Elves, expanding rings of light at the edge of space, born from lightning's electromagnetic pulse. Gigantic jets, upward bolts connecting storms to the ionosphere. Once dismissed as folklore, these are now scientific frontiers. If such wonders exist, why not the glyph? The sky's creativity surpassed imagination. Its mysteries were far from solved. The glyph became another piece in the puzzle of the storm. Was the glyph a message or a coincidence? Science called it a statistical anomaly, a beautiful fluke. Yet the symmetry felt intentional, like a language she couldn't read. Humans have always found patterns in chaos, weaving them into meaning. Is this just our minds projecting order or sensing a deeper truth? The glyph was a mirror. Scientist, mystic, artist, each saw something different. Dara was torn between rationality and wonder. The storm gave her not answers but questions. It challenged her to reconsider what it means to see and understand. Perhaps the glyph's meaning lay in the wonder it inspired. Dara's documentary offered no answers, only evidence, mystery, and questions. It paired data with her grandmother's wisdom, sprites with thunder gods. The film became an exploration, not an explanation. The glyph was its enigmatic centerpiece. Science and myth, she realized, are two languages for the same reality. The storm is a canvas for both. Dara now chases storms as a listener, not just a scientist. She seeks fragments of the sky's ongoing conversation. The sky keeps its secrets, but sometimes reveals wonders that leave us speechless. And so, Dara keeps looking up, never stopping her questions. Let's go to part 2. The universe speaks in storms. Dara, a glyph hunter, chased the planet's wildest weather. On the plains of Tornado Alley, she ran toward the green sky and descending funnel, not away. She wasn't just seeking adrenaline, she was listening. Her journey was a pilgrimage to the temples of chaos. In Venezuela, she braved the Catatumbo lightning, where storms raged for months, lightning painting the night. Dara's boat rocked on the water as she recorded each flash, collecting more than just data. She believed storms were writing a message, etched in lightning and wind. Her methods were unconventional. High-speed cameras, atmospheric sensors, and drones became her senses. In Oklahoma, her drones danced with tornadoes, measuring the storm's pulse. In Venezuela, hydrophones captured thunder's underwater echo. She gathered the scattered letters of an unknown alphabet, a language of chaos. This was more than science, it was personal. Dara felt kinship with the storms, seeing not destruction but expression. The universe in its wild dance was communicating. Storms were its medium, wind, rain, and lightning its ink. Dara, with courage and technology, was learning to read. She chased the ephemeral script of the cosmos, written in the storm-tossed sky. She was determined to understand what it was trying to say. Each storm was a fleeting message, and Dara was its interpreter. She stood alone but never felt more connected. The storms called, and she answered. In every tempest she found a new word, a new line in the universe's story. The hunt was just beginning. The language of the sky awaited her discovery. Obsession demands sacrifice. Dara's quest consumed her savings, her time, and her relationships. Every new drone, every sensor, was a leap of faith. Travel costs soared, remote flights, rugged vehicles, endless permits. Her bank account dwindled, a record of her devotion. Friendships faded, invitations went unanswered. Her world shrank to storm maps and data streams. She became a ghost in her own life, living in a workshop of wires and charts. Sleep came in snatches, stolen in her van as she waited for storms. Her technology evolved. The glyph catcher, a swarm of drones, coaxed patterns from chaos. High-res sensors captured fleeting glyphs, risking everything for a glimpse. The closer she got to the storm's heart, the more isolated she became. The glyphs grew clearer, more complex. Her need to understand more urgent. She sacrificed normalcy for meaning. The storms were her only companions, their secrets her only prize. Each chase pushed her further, both in science and solitude. The line between passion and obsession blurred. Dara pressed on, driven by the hope that her sacrifices would reveal the sky's message. She had to prove it was worth it. The hunt was her life now. In her lab, Dara faced chaos. Billions of data points, pure noise to most. But she had Ariadne, her custom software, to find order in the storm. Ariadne sifted the data, revealing hidden structures, the glyphs. These weren't random scribbles but intricate geometric forms, crystalline, branching, alive for milliseconds. They were ghosts in the machine but consistent and real. Dara dug deeper, searching for rules, a grammar beneath the symbols. Ariadne flagged patterns, spirals before branches, certain glyphs never together. It was like discovering that Q is always followed by U in English. The glyphs weren't isolated, they formed a system, a language. Dara felt awe. This was more than random beauty. The storm was telling a story, its glyphs the words and sentences. With Ariadne, she began to read the Tempest's narrative. Each storm revealed new rules, new connections. The language was logical, structured, and evolving. Dara realized she was witnessing a conversation in physics. The glyphs were the storm's voice, its fleeting script. She was no longer just collecting data, she was decoding meaning. The breakthrough was clear. Storms weren't just events but messages. The universe was writing and Dara was learning to read. The story was just beginning. Each glyph brought her closer to understanding. The chaos had a pattern and she was unraveling it. The machine had revealed its ghost. Dara pressed on, determined to translate the language of the sky. The storm's story was waiting. Dara discovered storms spoke in dialects. Tornadoes in Kansas produced sharp, angular glyphs, dense, spiraled, precise. She called this the plains rotational dialect, torque and shear, written in dust. In Southeast Asia, typhoons created sprawling fluid glyphs, long lines, gentle curves. This was the oceanic flow dialect, water and endurance, a script of persistence. Catatumbo lightning in Venezuela birthed jagged fractal glyphs, pure energy, branching like lightning itself. Dara named it Maracaibo static, a staccato burst of information. Each dialect reflected the storm's physics, temperature, pressure, humidity, and charge. The atmosphere was a tapestry of conversations, each storm a unique voice. Dara became a comparative linguist of the sky, cataloging vocabularies and syntax. Supercells, hurricanes, blizzards, all had their own glyphs. The Earth's weather was not a monolith but a chorus. Dara's quest shifted. She aimed to build a dictionary of the sky. Each storm added a new entry, a new accent. The language of the atmosphere was richer than she'd imagined. She was mapping the world's most ephemeral tongues. The sky's dialects were endless, and Dara was determined to learn them all. The conversation was global, and she was listening. Dara had glyphs, dialects, and hints of grammar, but no meaning. She needed a linguist, not a meteorologist. Enter Dr. Eris Thorn, a disgraced expert in proto-languages and universal grammar. Once a star, Thorn's theories, language rooted in math, not culture, cost him his career. Dara found him in a cluttered apartment surrounded by ancient texts. At first, Thorn doubted her, but her data revealed a language born from physics, not biology. Their collaboration fused science and linguistics. Dara brought evidence, Thorn, theory. He saw spirals as verbs, action, rotation, flowing glyphs as adjectives, states like pressure, branches as clauses, complex ideas. Together, they built a translation matrix. The storm's language began to yield meaning. Each glyph had a role, a function. The patterns were not just beautiful, they were structured, logical. Dara and Thorn bridged two worlds, decoding the sky's message. Their alliance was unlikely, but essential. The language of the storm was no longer a mystery. They were on the verge of understanding. The code was breaking. The sky was speaking, and they were learning to listen. The key was fractal geometry, patterns repeating at every scale. Dara's glyphs mirrored coastlines, trees, and river systems, self-similar, endlessly complex. Thorn recognized this in the Maracaibo static dialect. Branches within branches like lightning or blood vessels. The glyphs weren't arbitrary. They followed universal mathematical rules. Spirals matched equations found in galaxies and seashells. The universe used a geometric toolkit, building everything from storms to stars. This grounded their work in real science. Predictions became possible. Storm energy and rotation determined glyph structure. Tests confirmed it. The glyphs were mathematical signatures of the storm's state. The language was numbers, the grammar was physics. Dara and Thorn were decoding the universe's blueprint. Each glyph was a theorem, written in air and water. The storm's message was mathematical, not mystical. They were reading the source code of creation. The language of the sky was the language of the cosmos. Fractal grammar led to a bigger idea, a universal language. Chomsky proposed humans have innate grammar. Thorn saw it rooted in math. The storm glyphs were evidence, a grammar beyond life, a cosmic syntax. This language wasn't about nouns or verbs, but matter and energy, forces and interactions. Spirals described angular momentum, branches, energy flow. The glyphs were direct statements of physical law. Dara and Thorn saw this grammar everywhere. Trees, galaxies, snowflakes, all dialects of the same language. Human words were local dialects. The universe spoke in equations. The storm glyphs were a Rosetta Stone, bridging biology and physics. They were learning to read reality's source code. The rules were nature's laws, unchangeable and universal. It was humbling. Our language was just one accent in the cosmic conversation. The universe described itself in math. Storms were its poetry. Dara and Thorn were translating the cosmos. The language of creation was unfolding before them. If there's a language, is there a speaker? Dara and Thorn debated, were storms conscious or was this just nature's order? Thorn argued, language encodes information, not intent. DNA is a language but not intelligent. Perhaps storm glyphs were emergent, not deliberate. Dara felt otherwise. Standing in a storm felt like meeting a presence. Could there be a vast atmospheric intelligence, slow and alien? Science could prove the language, decode its grammar, translate its meaning, but intent remained elusive. Patterns don't prove a pattern maker. A snowflake is ordered, but not designed. Yet the storm glyphs felt different, like a message. The question lingered, unsolved. The mystery remained at the heart of their discovery. Dara's journey led to a new understanding. The question of cosmic intelligence was the wrong question. She realized she wasn't just an observer, she was part of the system. In the Atacama Desert, a dust devil revealed a new dialect, glyphs in swirling sand. The universe wasn't speaking to her, it was simply speaking. Storms, trees, galaxies, all were conversations between forces. Dara too was a product of these laws. Her quest was participation, not observation. Her science was her dialect, her verse in the cosmic poem. She was no longer just a storm chaser but a student of creation's language. She wasn't decoding a message, she was learning the language she was written in. The line between observer and observed vanished. Dara was a pattern, studying patterns. Her journey brought unity, a sense of belonging to the universe's story. She was not just listening but learning to speak the language of existence. Her glyph joined the endless storm of creation. The conversation continued and Dara was now a part of it. The universe's language was hers to learn and to share. Let's go to part 3. There is a war being fought all around us, a silent, invisible conflict raging at every scale. It's not a war for land or resources as we understand them, but for something far more fundamental, the very fabric of existence. This is a battle for the source code of reality, the underlying principles that govern everything we know. Every sunrise, a fresh canvas upon which this war is painted, every thought, a spark ignited in the midst of the fray. Every falling leaf is a skirmish in this silent cosmic conflict, a tiny act of surrender to the inevitable. Most of us are oblivious to this grand struggle, yet we feel its tremors in moments of clarity, sudden change, or unexpected inspiration. The combatants aren't armies with weapons and strategies, but fundamental forces, the very building blocks of the universe. They are known as the architects and the erasers. The architects are the weavers of complexity, the creators of order from chaos. They are the builders of structure, the designers of form. They are the force behind spinning galaxies and the intricate dance of DNA, writing the laws that make our universe stable and predictable. Their work is the light of a distant star, a beacon of hope in the vast darkness, the delicate geometry of a snowflake, a testament to perfect order, the symphony of an ecosystem, a harmonious blend of countless individual parts. On the other side are the erasers, the forces of dissolution. They are the agents of entropy, not inherently evil, but absolutely necessary for balance. They are the wind that wears down mountains, slowly but surely reshaping the landscape, the silence after a song, the fading echo that reminds us of impermanence, the force that ensures nothing lasts forever, preventing stagnation and paving the way for renewal. The erasers are the cosmic reset, the great leveler. They are essential in preventing the universe from becoming static and lifeless. This conflict is not distant, it's here now, a constant presence. It exists in the tension at the heart of everything, the delicate balance between creation and destruction. We are born from the architect's desire for complexity, a testament to their creative power, but subject to the eraser's inevitable pull towards simplicity, the return to dust. Our lives are a testament to this battle, a microcosm of the cosmic struggle. We build, striving to create something lasting. We age, succumbing to the passage of time. Our creations crumble, returning to the earth from which they came. We are living battlegrounds, each of us a stage for this epic conflict. We are caught between creation and decay, constantly striving for balance. Every act of building is defiance against chaos, a small victory for the architects. Every loss, a stark reminder of entropy's certainty, a moment where the erasers gain ground. Ultimately, we are all participants in a war for the soul of reality itself, a war that shapes our lives and the universe around us. Imagine the universe in its infancy, a time before stars ignited and galaxies swirled. A formless sea of energy, a chaotic soup where the very building blocks of existence were yet to take shape. It was a realm of pure potential, waiting for a guiding hand. Into this void stepped the architects, not beings in the traditional sense, but a cosmic will to order, an inherent drive to transform chaos into cosmos. Their first act, write the laws, the fundamental principles that would govern all that is to come. Gravity, electromagnetism, nuclear forces, the cornerstones of reality. Etched into space-time, these laws dictate how matter interacts, how energy flows, and how the universe evolves. These laws are the grammar of reality, the underlying code that dictates the structure and behavior of everything, allowing stars, planets, and atoms to form, bringing forth the elements of creation. The architects turn random noise into structured signal, transforming the primordial chaos into a symphony of order, introducing patterns and relationships, weaving a tapestry of interconnectedness across the cosmos. Light gathers into stars, igniting the darkness with radiant energy. Dust becomes planets, coalescing into worlds of infinite possibility. Galaxies bloom like flowers in the dark, vast and majestic structures swirling through the void. Their influence is everywhere, a subtle but pervasive force shaping the universe at every scale. In honeycombs, tree branches, neural networks, they build systems within systems, a fractal-like hierarchy extending from the smallest particles to the largest structures, from subatomic particles to galactic clusters, each level building upon the last. Their signature is emergence, something greater than the sum of its parts, where new properties arise from the interactions of simpler components. But building is a struggle against the universe's natural drift toward disorder, the relentless force of entropy. Every structure requires energy to maintain, a constant input to counteract the forces of decay. Every star a triumph over chaos, a beacon of order in the face of universal entropy. The architects are tireless, pushing back the tide, their work a fragile victory, constantly threatened by the forces of disintegration. Their legacy is existence itself, a universe of complexity, always on the edge of unraveling, a delicate balance between order and chaos. Without them, there would be no order, no life, no meaning, only the cold, empty void. They are the authors of reality's intricate code, the unseen hands that shape the cosmos and give rise to all that we know. Listen closely, the erasers are the whisper on the wind, a subtle presence you might not always notice, the slow march of time, etching away at everything, leaving its indelible mark. They are the counterpoint to the architects, the builders and creators, the force of dissolution, the constant wearing down that shapes the world. Where the architects build, reaching for the sky, the erasers undo, returning things to the earth, embodying the second law of thermodynamics. All order drifts toward chaos, a fundamental principle of the universe. They are the great equalizers, bringing everything back into balance, not destroyers out of malice, but agents of renewal, clearing the way for what comes next. Without them, the universe would stagnate, trapped in a perpetual state of inertia, cluttered with relics, unable to change, a museum of forgotten things. The erasers dissolve old structures, breaking them down into their component parts, freeing energy for new creation, a burst of potential waiting to be harnessed. A fallen tree decays, feeding new life, its essence returning to the soil, a mind forgets, making space for new ideas, allowing for growth and evolution. Their methods are subtle but unstoppable, a constant gentle pressure, mountains worn to sand, a testament to the power of time, iron rusting, slowly returning to its original state, memories fading, becoming whispers of what once was. They operate on every scale, from the smallest particle to the largest galaxy, from quantum foam to the heat death of the universe, an all-encompassing force. The erasers are the cosmic tide, a constant ebb and flow pulling everything back to simplicity, stripping away the unnecessary. Without them there could be no growth, no space for new beginnings, no evolution, no change, only stagnation and decay. They provide the empty canvas for the architect's next masterpiece, a fresh start for creation. The silence between notes gives music its rhythm, the pauses that define the melody, so too do the erasers give reality its dynamism, its constant state of flux. They are not enemies, but vital partners in the dance of existence, a necessary force for balance. Their whisper is a promise of renewal, a sign that something new is on the horizon. For centuries we saw ourselves as mere observers of a cosmic clockwork. But what if we're reading the instruction manual? Enter Dr. Eris Thorne, linguist, and Dr. Dara Sharma, physicist. Together they discovered glyphs, fragments of reality's source code, hidden in plain sight. Thorne noticed recurring symbols in ancient petroglyphs, basalt fractures, and nebulae spectra. He proposed these were characters in a universal language, commands that told the universe how to be. Sharma, skeptical, was convinced when the glyphs predicted molecular structures with stunning accuracy. The universe, she realized, was computational at its core, physics as a running program. The glyphs were snippets of this code, the architect's instructions for assembling reality. The erasers in turn were agents of cosmic garbage collection, deleting obsolete data. The glyphs, found in stone and starlight, were evidence of a universal language writing the story of everything. Dara Sharma saw storms on Earth, Jupiter, the Sun as more than weather. They were battlefields. These storms were moments where architects and erasers rewrote the code of space-time. Dara focused on mysterious electrical storms that seemed to organize energy, not just discharge it. After these storms, satellites detected complex crystalline structures in the ionosphere order emerging from chaos. Dara realized she was witnessing the architects at work storms as acts of creation, bursts of new code. On Earth, geometric mineral veins appeared after anomalous weather in space, nebulae coalesced into stars. The architects could build in intense bursts, forging new realities in flashes of lightning. Dara and Eris theorized these storms were how the universe evolved, focused injections of order and information. The thunder was new physical laws being written, the lightning, the flash of the cosmic compiler. These were not destructions but violent, beautiful births, upgrades to the universe, one tempest at a time. For every creative storm, Dara and Eris found another that unmade. These were not storms of lightning but of silence, fronts that absorbed sound and light where systems failed. These were the erasers' storms, leaving behind unnerving simplicity. After an entropic front, complex geology became smooth, mineral diversity reduced as if eons of erosion happened in hours. A vibrant coral reef became barren after an anomalous current, complexity deleted, replaced by simplicity. Eris saw this in language grammatical richness, eroded after societal collapse, echoing the erasers' work. The loss of language, history, libraries, skirmishes in the erasers' campaign to reduce information. The erasers could act in bursts, entropic storms as targeted deletions, pruning complexity. It was the universe's way of removing what was too rigid or unnecessary. The chilling silence was the sound of the cosmic delete key, wiping the slate for something new. Dara and Eris's discoveries forced science to confront a radical idea: the universe is a computer. The laws of physics are the operating system, matter and energy, the hardware. The architects and erasers are the running program, writing, compiling, deleting code. Every event from atoms colliding to thoughts forming is a computation. Information is the universe's most fundamental substance. The architects increase information, arranging particles into complex patterns. The erasers embody entropy, breaking down information-rich structures, returning systems to randomness. The Big Bang was the boot sequence. The architects run applications, the erasers clean up corrupted files. Our reality is the user interface, our consciousness, one of its most complex outputs. We are living inside the computation, not just in the universe. Is one force good and the other evil? We instinctively side with the architects, fearing the erasers, but Dara and Eris argued this is a projection of our own perspective. Both forces are essential, partners in a necessary dance. A universe ruled only by architects would be a crystalline prison, perfect, static, and dead. No movement, no change, no growth, ultimate order but no life. A universe ruled only by erasers would be a formless void. No stars, no life, no meaning. Perfect equilibrium, maximum entropy, a return to nothingness. The dynamic between creation and dissolution is what makes reality vibrant. The tension between these poles creates space for life, consciousness, and meaning. We exist on the shoreline where chaos meets order. Our role is not to choose a side but to recognize the necessity of both. The universe is alive because of their dance. We live within this eternal tension, children of both architects and erasers. Our bodies are masterpieces of order, destined to decay. Our minds build knowledge, haunted by forgetting. This is not a flaw but the system itself. The interplay between building and dissolving makes reality adaptive and alive. The battle for reality is never won. The struggle sustains existence. Every act of creation is a victory for the architects. Every act of letting go, an honor to the erasers. We are not spectators. We participate through our choices and creations. The universe is an unfinished symphony. Architects write melodies, erasers provide the rests. The composition is ongoing, revised in every moment. There is no final note, only the beautiful tension at the heart of all things. Our purpose is not to choose a side but to add our own notes to the music. Let's go to part 4. The universe is full of wonders, stars born in fiery nurseries, galaxies colliding in cosmic dances. But sometimes the most profound events happen right here, on our blue world. In the vast Pacific, something unprecedented was stirring, a hypercane. A storm so immense it dwarfed any hurricane in history. Its winds screamed at impossible speeds, warping the sea into a dome of water. Satellites struggled to measure its energy. This was not just a storm, it was a planetary event, a force that could rewrite civilization. The hypercane was a symptom of a planet in flux, a climate pushed past its tipping point. It was Earth's atmosphere seeking a new balance, threatening destruction on a scale we'd never seen. Cities could be erased, ecosystems annihilated, humanity's story abruptly ended. Yet the storm was not evil, just physics, chemistry, the universe in motion. Where there is great challenge, there is also opportunity. Aboard the research vessel, the Sagan, a team of scientists chose not to flee, but to confront the unknown. Led by Dara, a brilliant atmospheric physicist, they saw the storm as a puzzle, not a monster. Dara believed true understanding required going inside the storm itself. To learn its secrets, they would have to face the unwritten storm from within. The Sagan set course for the heart of chaos, determined to witness and decode the greatest storm in human history. They sailed not for conquest but for comprehension. The world watched as they crossed the threshold between order and chaos. The fate of humanity might depend on what they discovered. In the face of annihilation, they chose curiosity. The hypercane was a message from the planet itself, and Dara was determined to listen. The journey into the storm had begun. The Sagan was built for the impossible. Its reinforced hull braced for the apocalypse. Dara stood at the helm, calm amid the crew's anxiety, their mission sail into the hypercane's eye wall. As they neared the storm, the sky bruised purple, the sea rose in monstrous waves. Every impact reminded them of their fragility. Inside, the crew worked with focused intensity. Geologists tracked seismic tremors, biologists studied extremophiles, and Dara searched for patterns in the chaos. Even in the most violent systems, she believed, there are rules, a hidden language. The hypercane was speaking. Their challenge was to understand. Dara's heritage as a raincaller, attuned to the sky's rhythms, guided her scientific mind. She was not just collecting data, she was listening, blending ancient intuition with modern science. The Sagan pressed deeper, a tiny vessel trespassing in a realm of giants. The crew's resolve was tested by every lurch and roar, but they pressed on, determined to find order in the chaos. Dara's legacy and science converged in this moment. She was humanity's ear to the storm. The greatest storm in history was about to reveal its secrets, and Dara was ready to listen. The ship groaned under the storm's assault, alarms blaring, metal straining. Fear was palpable, but purpose outweighed it. They were humanity's eyes in the abyss. Outside, sea and sky merged into a single violent entity. Visibility vanished, they navigated by instruments alone. The storm's power was beyond comprehension, yet every data point was a victory. The Sagan systems fought to keep them upright, the crew enduring relentless noise and motion. Dara steadied herself, feeling the storm's pulse beneath the chaos. She remembered her grandmother's stories. The wind has a voice, the rain a memory. Here, those metaphors felt real. The storm was a system, not a monster. It had structure, rhythm, a pulse. If it had a pulse, perhaps it could be influenced. Dara closed her eyes, searching for the pattern beneath the fury. The crew's survival depended on finding meaning in the madness. Every second was a triumph of will and ingenuity. The storm was a symphony of destruction. But even symphonies have structure. Dara was determined to find it, and perhaps to change the tune. Suddenly the violence ceased. The Sagan entered the hypercane's eye in eerie, profound calm. Above, stars shone with impossible clarity around them, a cathedral of swirling clouds. In the heart of chaos there was peace. Dara gazed at the towering wall of clouds, sensing a living system trapped in a feedback loop. Her ancestors would have seen a spirit to be soothed, not fought. Dara realized the storm wasn't an enemy, it was a system seeking stability. What if, instead of fighting, they offered it a new pattern? Her mind raced chaos theory, fluid dynamics, quantum physics, and the old stories of raincallers. The storm was exquisitely sensitive, a small nudge could have massive effects. This was the butterfly effect. But what if the nudge was precise, a coherent pattern, not just a random push? Dara envisioned a message, not a weapon. A suggestion, not a command. The storm could be guided, not conquered. In the stillness, Dara found her answer. The key was not force, but communication. The storm was ready to listen, and Dara was ready to speak. Dara's idea was radical. Communicate with the storm using light. She designed a glyph, a fractal pattern drawn from both science and her heritage. Every curve was calculated to introduce a stabilizing resonance into the storm. The crew reconfigured the ship's sensors into a focused light projector. They would send a message, not a blast. The glyph, shimmering in polarized blue light, was projected onto the storm's wall. It was a whisper of order in a universe of chaos. For a moment, nothing happened. The crew held its breath. Was it a futile gesture or the beginning of something new? Dara believed in the power of a well-placed idea. The storm was a chaotic system, sensitive to the smallest input. The glyph was their message, their hope. They waited, watching the storm for a sign. Science and ancient wisdom had joined forces. The universe was about to answer, and the world held its breath. In chaos, a tiny nudge can change everything. Dara's glyph was the butterfly's wing, a precise, meaningful input. The light gently nudged a few million molecules, starting a chain reaction. The storm's energy amplified the signal, propagating the new pattern. The hypercane began to organize itself, following the glyph's elegant geometry. It was mediation, not domination. For centuries, humanity fought nature with force. Dara offered a new way: work with the patterns, not against them. Chaos theory revealed leverage points. Dara found one. She didn't defeat the storm. She gave it a new idea. The storm listened. The destructive dance shifted. The hypercane was changing. Humanity's role was redefined, not conqueror but collaborator. The storm's song was being rewritten, and Dara was its composer. The change began slowly, then accelerated. The glyph spread, replicated by the storm's own energy. Chaos gave way to fractal order. Angry clouds shimmered with iridescent hues. The storm transformed its energy channeled into beauty, not destruction. Winds softened, rain became a glowing mist. Intricate patterns formed in the air, breathtaking in their complexity. The hypercane was now a living work of art. The Sagan's crew watched in awe, recording a phenomenon that would redefine meteorology. Dara's intervention had guided the storm onto a creative path. Humanity was not just a passenger or ruler but a participant in nature's story. The new storm became a permanent, beautiful feature of the planet, a reminder that chaos holds the seeds of order. Wisdom, not force, is our greatest tool. The storm had been unwritten and a new chapter began. The sky itself was changed. For ages we saw ourselves as either insignificant or as conquerors of nature. Dara's story suggests a third path: mediator, co-creator. We are the universe becoming self-aware, with the power to help write its story. Physical laws govern the cosmos, but within them lies infinite creativity. Life, consciousness, civilization, all are products of cosmic creativity. Now, we can be creative in return. Science lets us perceive and influence reality on every scale. The hypercane is a metaphor. We need not fight the world, but learn its language. We can guide chaotic systems toward harmony and beauty. This is not fantasy, but our potential. We are not gods, but artists within the laws of physics. We can be the butterfly's wing, the whisper that changes the song. Our cosmic role is to feel, understand, and respond with wisdom. We are the universe's nervous system. The story is ongoing. What will we choose to create? Dara was transformed, no longer just a scientist but the fulfillment of her ancestry. Her people, the rain callers, sought harmony with the sky. Dara was the first to truly get an answer. Her tools were mathematics and light, but her intent was ancient communication. She bridged the gap between human and storm, translating wisdom into science. She saw the storm not as an enemy, but as a system in pain. Her solution was empathy, written in light. She didn't command or defeat the storm. She offered it a new story. In doing so, she defined a new path for humanity. Harmonize, don't dominate. Dara became a rain caller for the planet. The sky's story is always changing as we learn its language. Dara's journey is an invitation. Stay curious, keep listening. The universe is a conversation and we all have a voice. We are participants in the unwritten story of the cosmos. The storm's answer was beauty. Dara's answer was wisdom. What will our verse be?